What's up, guys? So it is 10 o'clock-ish. I don't know, watch or clock on. I have to be somewhere at noon, and I want to do some art. We got to get this done. We got a lot of stuff to do in a very short period of time, but there's a very important factor of this that needs to happen first. While we're doing that, I want to talk to you about something I've made a decision on about the podcast. The light's going to be weird for a little bit here, so you're just going to have to bear with me. Anyway. Watch out for the refrigerator, Dave. What I've decided about the podcast is we just launched episode 19. I say we as if it was like a group effort. I just launched episode 19 yesterday, and it's great. It's a really good one. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. I'll link to it. But episode 20, I'm going to do next week, and I'm going to take a break like I do. I 10 episodes, take a little bit of a break, 10 episodes, a little bit of a break. Just something I do for myself, kind of give you guys a break so that you feel really good when we come back. So the first most important thing that I wanted to tell you today, or need to get out to you today, is that in the next season of the podcast, I'm going to be having people on. What may end up happening, because some of these people are going to be out of the region, I'm not going to have them locally here in my house. You might not get video of those. They won't be here. I don't want to do that typical, hey, here's that split screen Skype interview thing. I hate that. You're not going to get as many podcast videos, but the podcast will still exist. You just have to go somewhere else to go find those. It'll be good conversations. And if you haven't figured out, the other thing that I need to handle before we do painting is this.
Tell your friends do that
that's a little much. Too over dramatic.
We saying trends started up with a few views. We going live, everybody shake your caboose.
If I leave a mess like that, my wife will kill me.
Crew, do what you do. It's only
sounds so good. So now if you were paying attention to the podcast, then you know that the canvas that I'm working on in the garage right now, that is an old project turning out to be a new project. It's an experimentation because I had this random crazy idea. Okay, maybe crazy isn't the best word for it because it's not totally nuts. Basically what I'm doing is I'm going to take this old piece from 2008, clean it up a little bit with some acetone. We can just kind of take off some of the smudgy, dusty stuff that's been sitting on it for a while. Redo it a little bit because I'm not feeling this one anymore. This is an old piece that I started when I first got back into doing work on canvas again and felt good at the time. Doesn't feel good anymore, so we're going to do something new. I already did a recent time-lapse. We're not going to do a time-lapse of this. Really what I want to just discuss with you is the process of this, of what it all came down to. The way it started was a shower. It started in the shower. I was thinking about the Declaration of Independence. The podcast I said Constitution, but that was wrong. The Declaration of Independence, and one particular phrase, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. You might think life, liberty, pursuit of happiness might be the thing I put up there, but that would be wrong. The actual thing that I want to put up here is we hold these truths to be self-evident. I don't know, I can't explain it. Obviously the political situation being what it is, it resonated with me at the moment, and I was like, cool. And then all of a sudden, this canvas popped into my head. One that I'd kind of stashed away. Had been sitting over here in my pile for months. We're going to do that phrase on here somehow. I have a mental vision. I have somewhat of a plan. I have absolutely no idea how this is going to turn out. I could completely mess this up. It's all about the experimentation, trying to figure out how this works. And, you know, if I don't figure this one out, it's going to help me learn about how to do the next one. You know how dirty that was. Definitely needed a cleaning. My space here is not exactly airtight. In fact, it's not airtight even a little bit. So a lot of stuff here gets dusty and messy. That's one of the reasons why I would love to have a real studio instead of just a musty old garage. But hey, baby steps. Something else that's really important that I think to understand about this piece is that I don't want to lose this. Currently, the title is Burned by the Flag. The title's going to change because obviously it's going to be something new, but I like this kind of essence of the flaggish kind of feel to it because it lends to the new idea. A lot of this is probably going to change, but I want to keep a good portion of it because I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose it. That is my biggest obstacle. Do what I want to do, but not lose too much of that.
Sing
We'll
along
see how
to
it
a
goes.
freestyle impromptu. All your family is gonna wanna watch cool. Invite them all to your karaoke carpool. And when that bass go
In the podcast, I talked about how I kind of hate every single piece of art that I do at some point because I don't know where I'm going with it. It just kind of looks really kind of, oh, fuck, what did I just do? That is kind of one of those moments where it's like, but owning it. Gonna own it, gonna figure it out. I kind of blocked out some space where I think I know this text is gonna go, but I can't 100% say for sure that it's gonna line up just like this, so we'll figure it out. I think the most important point to this is that we stick to our vision as much as we possibly can until we can't anymore, and then just be okay with what comes next. At least that's what works for me. You never know where it's gonna end up. Just kind of go along for the ride, let the paint do its work, and at some point I'll be happy with what gets put out. One thing I want to interject here, and this is kind of spliced in a day later than when I filmed the other stuff. What I want to talk about is making some conscientious choices about what I put on this canvas. I was just today watching a live video on Instagram of an artist by the name of Ardith Goodwin, and I'll link to her in the show notes. You should go check her stuff out. I was watching her in the process of her creating a new piece, and as I started to dig deeper into her archive of stuff, I really started to see, wow, there's some really honest intention into all of the marks that she makes. I want to try that. I want to give that a shot here. It's not my instinct to do that, but we're going to give it a shot and see what happens. No promises. Also, one other thing I talk about, I don't know where this is going to fit in, but at some point I talk about the microphone that I just got. I've got the microphone here, so whether this goes in before the microphone gets mentioned, this is what the microphone sounds like. If this goes in after, well then there you go.